Shalom, welcome to the Jewish View. My name is Rabbi Nachman Simon with the Chabad House of Delmar, together with my co-host, Mark Ronich of Statewide News Service, jbiztechvalley.com, and as you can see, columnist for the Jewish Press.
Yep, I have a column in there called the Albany Beat, and I talk about how government relates to the Jewish community, or doesn't, as the case may be. But with us, speaking of government, with us today is the Director of Albany County Veterans Services Bureau, Michael Good. So you were a good pick. So thank you very much for being here. Welcome to the Jewish View.
Thanks for having me.
Mike, just as a veteran, what were you in the U.S. Army?
Yes.
The Army, you have the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Coast Guard.
Marines.
Coast
So
Guard.
which part of the Army, when were you in the Army? What years?
Well, I initially joined the Army in 1975, and I got out in 92, and then I joined the National Guard, the New York Army National Guard in 1992.
So you left right after Vietnam. You went in right after Vietnam
Yes.
was over.
Yes.
And then where were you stationed?
Well, that time I was stationed at Fort Knox, Fort Sill. I did a tour in Korea, did a tour in Germany. And then when I got out of the Army, I was stationed at Fort Campbell, Kentucky.
Okay. Well, you said Fort Knox. That's where the money is. So that's where the gold is. So you can.
Yeah.
They didn't take any money. You guarded
It's
it
a
well.
good place
over
to be.
I didn't take no money.
So when you have, so when you came back to Albany, you settled in what area?
I didn't grow up here in Albany.
No.
I grew
Where'd
up
you
in Boston.
Yeah.
I joined the Army initially from Boston. I came to Albany and stayed here because my wife is from Albany.
I see.
And she really didn't want to leave, so we're still here.
Great. And where do you live? What part of
I live over in North Albany.
North Albany?
Yeah.
Okay.
How did you get involved with the veterans? I mean, obviously you are a veterans, but this Veterans Association.
No, the Bureau.
Bureau, excuse me.
Bureau. Yeah. I was acquainted with Dan McCoy. We were both in the same unit in the
Oh, really?
National
That's
Guard.
In
interesting.
the National Guard.
And he offered me a job as the Director of Veteran Services. And I
So you're an
took-
employee of Albany County.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So but how did you and Dan like hook up or know each other after the National Guard? Where did this offer actually happen?
Well, we were in a restaurant, and he was leaving, and we just bumped into each other and struck up a conversation, and it just went from there.
And it just went from there.
Yeah. Yeah,
And what
that
were
was-
you doing at the time? What were you?
I was in a retirement mode. I was sitting at home doing nothing. Because I had retired from the Army National Guard in 1993.
Yeah.
So you had about 20
I'm sorry,
years.
in 2013 I retired.
Okay.
So you had a
from the
lot of
National
time in
Guard.
already.
I have over 38 years of
The
military service.
And how old are you now?
I'm 61. I just
61.
had a birthday last month.
Well, you're a young 61.
Yeah.
It's the new 40.
It's the new 40.
So
Yeah.
just what your present job is, what do you do for the veterans in Albany County?
Well, what we do at the Veterans Bureau is provide services for the nearly 20,000 veterans and their families that live in Albany County.
It's a lot.
The
It's about 10% of the people. I mean, 8% out of
Right.
330.
Right. We help them with their service-connected injuries. We help them get benefits from that. We help them get compensations, and we help them with burial arrangements if need be.
What's your staff at the Bureau?
We have 2 service workers, 2 service officers, and 1 confidential secretary.
And you, and that's
And
it?
myself.
4 people.
4 people.
Handles 20,000 people.
Handle 20,000 plus.
Wow.
You know, one of the big...
So,
all right.
wait a minute, I just want to add, what's your salary over there at the Bureau?
My salary,
Yeah, it's public record, I'm just asking.
it's a little bit over 50.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
not bad.
I want to, you know, one of the big issues today with veterans is there's so many homeless veterans. You always hear about that.
Well, no, I mean, Dan's talked about Soldier On and then what
Right.
they're doing
Yeah,
out
that's
by...
what I'm saying. I mean, that's
Yeah.
a big issue that's always there. I don't know what's...
Right. There's a great effort between our Veterans Bureau, Albany Housing Coalition, and Soldier On to make sure the veterans that are within Albany County have a place to live. So we're trying real hard to get as many veterans as we can
And
off the street.
they're building a new unit out by the airport, right?
What are they doing?
Right?
That
The housing facility?
well, I don't know a lot about that, but that's a Soldier On project
Right.
that's out there by the airport. That old Albany
And-
County nursing home.
Right, yeah, the old one, yeah.
They're going to turn that into a facility
For
for
veterans.
veterans.
Yeah, for
Let me
homeless
ask you,
veterans.
when it says homeless, I mean, because you are a veteran, but you deal with them all the time. Why are they homeless? Because they say there's so many people who have mental trauma. Because in the meantime, they've been, like even Mark says, there's Vietnam and there's Iraq and they're Afghanistan, they're shooting away. So is it a mental problem that they just were traumatized or
PTSD.
or they just can't get a job, maybe they just unemployed and that's why they're homeless?
There's multiple issues, but you got to some guys are content being homeless. They like the situation they're in because
No
that's where they feel
responsibility?
comfortable.
There's
But-
no responsibility, you're
Right,
saying?
and there's a lot of different issues surrounding homelessness, but it's just like a regular civilian being homeless, whatever that issue is.
I don't know, are there more they always talk about veterans maybe because it's, hey, they served the country for a few years, whatever it was, and now, hey, we owe them something. Or maybe like you say, just compared to the regular population, regular
Right.
people that were never veterans are also homeless. So,
Right.
maybe we owe them, there's a lot of homeless people, but we do owe the veterans one, hey, you put all your life on the line for the most part for if you
Right,
go
and they
overseas.
have a couple of facilities here in Albany for veterans that are homeless too. So
Now, when you deal with the entire county, how is it in the rural areas? Rensselaerville, Knox, Bern, the hill towns, do you have issues out there for homeless veterans? Because it gets pretty cold up there in the mountains there.
yeah, it does, but I'm not really familiar with those rural areas yet. I haven't been out there yet.
Okay, how long have you been on the job?
I've been there since July, since
So
the
about
end
6
of July.
months.
Yeah,
About
It's
6 months.
very new over here.
yeah.
So this is about the time that I let people, get their feet on the ground to
Right.
get the lay of the
Get
land
adjusted.
and adjusted before they come on the show. So
And I still have a critical training that I have to do because I'm not a service provider yet because there's an accreditation program that you have to go through, and I haven't done that accreditation program. I'm scheduled to go do that training in May. Then after that, I can do everything else that our service providers do in our office. I'll be able to do that also.
you'll be more hands-on.
I'll be more hands-on.
When does a veteran come to you, knock on the door, hey, I need help? Is that the situation?
Well,
that
first of
you
all, we
work
should
in?
say he's located at 162 Washington Avenue on the 7th floor.
162.
Right, 162 Washington Avenue on the 7th floor.
The
That's
DSS building.
Right.
Yeah, that's Albany County building.
That's the
Yeah.
Albany County DSS building. It's
Yeah.
not, So I just wanted to let people
So
know where
when-
they can find you when they
Right.
come knock on your door.
Right, right.
But people come and saying, hey, I'm having troubles, I don't have food, I don't have a home. Is that what
Yeah,
your
they
office is?
come and some people come to that building to get DSS services, and if they're identified as a veteran, they'll call one of us down and we'll sit and talk to them. And if we can get them services and assistance through the federal government, then that's what we'll do.
So you go down personally sometimes, or do you send your two other?
Myself or one of the other service officers will go down. But if I go down, one of the service officers are with me
Okay,
to make sure I'm
doing the right thing.
doing the right thing.
Because they've been there
Yeah.
longer.
Right.
Right, okay.
And again, I'm not accredited
Right.
to do any paperwork for them, so if
No,
they
but
need...
this is good hands-on experience for you.
Right,
I mean, this is,
right.
you
And
didn't
you-
expect to be in an administrative role either.
Yeah, and usually a veteran wants to talk to a veteran.
Right.
because you kind of talk the same language. So it kind of takes the edge off of him coming in there asking
Well,
for
aren't
help.
the other two people working for you veterans also?
Yes,
Yeah.
everybody's a veteran.
Everyone's a
up there.
veteran, so yeah.
Right.
As opposed to talking to a DSS worker, you mean?
Yes.
Having you come down and talk about, as a
Right.
veteran, you could speak the same language.
Right, but if we can't help them, we give them back to DSS, and then
Yeah,
DSS
your problem.
takes care of them.
Well, there's a veterans hospital, and again, we have so many guests on the Jewish View here, and that is the head of the veterans hospital. You just say, you know, I mean, a person maybe, for example, is having mental health problems, and it's not
Yeah.
a matter of money, it's a matter of, hey, you need medical help.
Linda Weiss was on the program, but she's not there at the VA hospital anymore. But
Right.
how do you? What's your relationship with the VA hospital there?
Well, the way we work with the VA hospital is we just refer people to them.
Right.
If they need mental health, we'll call somebody, help them set up an appointment to go over there and get whatever they need.
Do you find that there's a symbiotic relationship, a very pleasant relationship between your office and the VA hospital, or?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I mean, after you talk to people for a while, you develop a friendship
yeah, right.
and a good rapport. So I think that we work well together
Oh, good.
because we have a common goal,
Yeah.
and that's serving
To help the
serving
veteran.
Yeah.
What do you see as the most common ailment that veterans are coming to you with? Like the rabbi mentioned mental illness, but I mean, there might be something else that's more common that you have to deal with that we might not know about. I'm
Well-
not a veteran, he's not a veteran. So.
Right. So most of the people that come through our office, they want copies of their discharge papers. They might have lost their discharge papers and they want copies of those papers. So we help them fill out the form to get copies of those papers. And then some veterans come in there with a service-connected injury that they didn't claim while they were in the military. Then we help them do that paperwork and put a package together to send to the VA so they can get compensated the right way.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, it's a nice job. It's a rewarding job.
Yeah. And that's the biggest issue, is like a paperwork type thing.
Yeah.
You must deal with Congressman Tonko a lot for this, as some added help, maybe?
Right. They assist us a lot in making sure veterans get what they need.
He's very accommodating, very sensitive about veterans, especially
is.
his predecessor, Mike McNulty, was a veteran, so
Right.
Paul Tonko's just continuing what Mike McNulty's tradition of
Right, right.
helping the veterans and being very focused on that. Why do you think elected officials wrap their arms around veterans? I know that, you know, the former county executive Mike Breslin was a veteran, and you know, he was always a very strong advocate, and it was part of his budget to always have a veterans focus, veteran-centric focus on the budget.
Right.
But you know, why is it that the veterans are so important? Now I know the answer, but I'm asking. I want to hear it from you to the elected officials.
Well, elected officials have a heart for veterans because a lot of them guys are veterans themselves, and the things that a veteran endures when he's away from his family for an extended period of time. He might be called to go to a combat area, and he's ready to put his life on the line for a country, for people he don't even know.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a special place in your heart for a guy like that or a woman like that. So you're gonna do whatever you can to make sure they get what they deserve, because they put their life on hold for how many years to service their country.
What you say about women, I mean, you know, what is percentage, or you get a lot of women veterans coming in? I don't know how many women what percentage are
But
in the armed forces.
do women
even.
come out of the army or come out of the military more centered than men? Do they have
the
fewer
same
problems?
issues
They
as
have
men.
the same issues, yeah.
No, some of them have the the same issues as men, but you have some women that are abused while they're in the military and they got to deal with that trauma. So it's no different for a man than there's a woman. They endure the same hardships as a man
And
does.
they're sent overseas, away
Yeah.
from family. That
Right, right.
So, you know, a lot of your background, when you were in the Army and you were deployed in all these different places, I mean, you've seen a lot more in terms of what you've, while you weren't in active duty, you know, you've still seen a lot of the tragedy that comes back from the field, right?
Right,
So
right.
you've seen the lost limbs and...
I mean, when you came in right after Vietnam, as Mark was saying, a few years afterwards, did you see guys saying, "Oh, that was terrible"? You know, a few year veterans, not even old veterans, that stayed in the Army and saying, "Man."
I never really witnessed the horrors of war. I was kind of, how do I say it? I was kind of protected. I wasn't really where soldiers coming back all messed up, all shot up, or loss of limbs and stuff. I didn't really witness a lot of that stuff. So I was kind of like the protected guy.
And what was your rank when you left?
I was a sergeant major when I left.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we got it, while the show's not over, I still want to say that, you know, thank you for your service to the country.
Yeah,
I
thank
don't want to
you.
let that go unsaid.
Thank you.
You know.
But I would say one of the things that we do at Albany County Veteran Service is we do an Honor a Vet program. And what that Honor a Vet program does, it honors a deceased veteran that served this country that lives in Albany County. And we do that once a month. So if you know of a veteran that's deceased and he was honorably discharged from the military, let us know, and so we can honor that guy.
Okay.
Maybe honor them while they're still alive. Wouldn't that be good also?
Twice a year, the county executive honors a living veteran. They pick about maybe 3 or 4 living veterans, and twice a year, he takes the time out to honor those guys.
No, I
And
think- yeah, go ahead.
then there's always the 4 chaplain ceremony.
So,
That 4 chaplains, you know that
So
story?
explain it, so tell our viewers.
Yeah, we have, there were 4 chaplains on this ship that was sunk by the Germans. And
Was that World
there
War
were
II?
4, in World War II, and 4 chaplains gave their life vests to other
Really?
people.
All
to-
different
to save them.
denominations.
Right, and they were the 4 chaplains, there was a rabbi, a Protestant priest, a Catholic priest, and there was another bishop, I think there was a bishop. And they gave their life vests to people who were saved, and they perished, the chaplains
Wow.
perished. So every year at the, I think it's
Jewish
the
War
county,
Veterans?
at the VA hospital, there's someone who's honored in the 4
At the
chaplain
VA?
ceremony, yeah.
I think that's important because I know that we've had guests on the show, and I've talked to a few people that were veterans, and it's not, you know, you're talking about physical help, and you go to the hospital, you got monetary, of course that's important, but there's psychological strength also, and just that, you know, you don't want to come back and, like you say, you put your life on the line, or you
Right.
put your family on hold, and then people say, "Yeah, who are you? Who cares about you?" I mean, you know, I just put up for my country. You know, I don't need a whole parade for me, but
Well,
at
that's
least
right.
that people should recognize, hey, you know, and that really hurts. I mean, it hurt a lot of Vietnam veterans.
Right.
You know, they put their life on the line saying,
There was no parade for the Vietnam veterans
Right.
when they came home, you know.
Yeah.
So.
So just that's what I'm saying, that goes dovetails to what you're saying about honoring veterans. Hey, you know, we appreciate what you did. You know, sometimes that's just important, is just physical help, is just saying, hey, we hold by you, we respect for what you did for us, you know, for as a country. And I think that's very important, because during the 1960s, that's when they started saying, people saying, you're a veteran, who cares? You know, what does it make a difference? That's your choice, you know, especially as volunteer now. And just say, hey, you're appreciated as a veteran. I
Right.
think that makes a big difference to their lives.
And to their mental health, too,
Yeah.
to know that they're appreciated.
right.
You marched in your first Veterans Day parade
Yes,
this
I
year?
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was interesting. I never marched in a parade. But it felt good to see that there are still some patriotic people that come out and support that parade, cheer you on, thank you, and that's a good feeling.
Did you actually walk the distance, or were you in a car?
No, I walked the
You
whole
walked-
distance.
you
I
walked
walked
the
from
distance.
Burger King all the way down to the
Well, we should
state
say
capitol.
Central and Ontario.
Yeah, Central and Ontario, all the way down to the state capitol.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I walked
and,
the whole thing.
And everyone cheering you on really gave you,
Yeah,
where
gave you
you
some
weren't.
adrenaline to keep going. Yeah.
So who did you walk with? What was the?
One of our service providers.
Were you with
he
the
and I,
county
Robert
executive
Cherry.
at the same?
No,
No.
it was he and I. Matter of fact, we walked with the Gold Star mothers.
Oh, wow.
We walked with them.
Does
They
that
had
hold
a vehicle, and there was some in the vehicle and some walking, so we walked with them.
And do they have a special place in your heart? Or?
The Gold Star mothers? Oh, absolutely.
Why?
A bunch of wonderful women. Their children paid the ultimate sacrifice, and they could have just went home, but they're still supporting other veterans and their families. So they're a great bunch of women.
Okay, well, we should know we should tell our audience what the Gold Star mothers are.
Yeah, that's the saying. How many are there really?
Yeah.
I don't know how many there are, but it's a national organization. And what a Gold Star mother is she's a mother who lost a child in a war. So
And
And
they have them in Albany County. There's a number of them.
there's quite a few in Albany County.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine, yeah.
I think more than one is quite a few. So there's a few in Albany County wherever I go, I always see them there. So they're pretty active in what they do.
So what's your schedule like? Do you go to more meetings than you ever thought you'd be at, and more events that you ever thought you'd be at?
Well, it's beginning to pick up. I think people are beginning to know that I'm there, and I'm being invited to a lot of different places, and I do some appearances for the county executive when he can't make it, so veteran affairs stuff. So
Well, because the county executive is still at the National Guard, isn't he?
yes, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he still takes 2 weeks off or something.
He
and
still
takes
does
time
his
off to do
training
his
and-
training and stuff,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he
So
still-
when, that conflicts with some parts of his schedule, his
Yeah.
team of directors of different agencies fill in and go when he can't go.
I didn't know that. That's very good for him.
There you go. Now
Yeah.
we'll have him back on and we'll talk to him about
Yeah,
it.
no.
So,
Well, it's important because you see public officials, maybe more on a national level, they're talking about going to war and, just you have veterans that know what it really means to be in the service, not just you see a war movie and it looks honorable just to fight. No, I'm just saying that, you have to be, like you say, sensitive to people getting hurt and dying and, being sent overseas and, National Guards, just send 1,000 guys there. Hey, they have jobs, they have family.
Right.
People are more sensitive to the needs if you're there.
what's this return the favor discounts for veterans? You know about that?
Yeah, well, Return the Favor is a program.
Find and assist veterans of record.
It was initiated by the Albany County Clerk's Office, and we run the program at the Veteran Service Bureau. And what it is we issue a veteran that comes in with his discharge papers. We issue him an ID card and a list of vendors and merchants in the area that give discounts to those veterans.
Oh, so they, like a 10% discount or something?
It could be 10%, might be more.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So,
But it's a good program. Any veteran can take advantage of that program.
and you have a card, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Absolutely.
What's this eligibility for Camp Lejeune benefits expanded? There was something on your website about that, I didn't know. They were expanded.
That's, I'm not real familiar with that, but
Okay.
there was an incident at Camp Lejeune with the water, and there was soldiers that got sick from that water, and that program goes through the VA to get them compensated for any damages.
Oh, I see. Okay. And what's this Veterans Miracle Center?
The Veterans Miracle Center is, I can't remember the address, but it's located down on Central Avenue, off of Central Avenue. And what it is it's a warehouse full of all kind of stuff that a veteran can go and pick up for free. Clothes,
Really? Very good.
houseware,
We should put
personal hygiene
We should put the
stuff.
address on your website, because I don't know where it is either.
For the Miracle Center?
For the Miracle Center. Yeah.
I will. I'll
Okay.
make sure we do that tomorrow.
Excellent.
Mark's
There you
our
go.
reporter.
Hey,
He's
no,
always
I'm
exact
just
about
copying
that.
and pasting from the website. It's okay, you know. We talked about Honor a Veteran. What about small business loans for military veterans? That's a program you have.
I'm not very familiar, but that's a state-ran program.
Oh, is it? Okay. $4 million.
Yeah, you can go through the state and
It says
and they'll
competitive
help you.
fixed rate small business loans for military veterans through the New York Business Development Corporation.
Right.
Okay. What about the Soldier On? We talked about that. And you have a lot of, you deal with, in cooperation with other, like you said, other businesses, but also the different chambers of commerce, where, it says here you're in partnership with the Albany Colony Regional Chamber, the Bethlehem Chamber, Colony Chamber, and the Guilderland Chamber. I think that's with the Return the Favor program.
Yeah.
And you also have a number of online resources with a bunch of websites and contact phone numbers on your website. It's very, it's really useful. It's a big resource. So that they go to your website, which is ACVB.
It's Albany County /veterans.com is
Okay.
our website.
Okay, or is it albanycounty.com/veterans? Well, if they just Google Albany County Veterans Bureau,
Right.
they can get to your
They'll get
website,
the website.
and then they can find out about all these other resources, because it's very useful what you have here. I mean, you got everything from the federal government to locally, all the local chapters and
Right.
disabled American veterans, VFW. By the way I just want everyone to know, the way I met you was that you went to the JWV meeting, Jewish War Veterans meeting, at Post 105. So that was, you're trying to make the connection. You're trying to, that was very good. That was very nice that you were there and got to meet some of the veterans. Not too many showed up, but that was okay. It's quality, not quantity.
Right. That's fine. That's fine.
So, no, that's very good. So I think you're doing, you're getting your sea legs,
He's in the Army over here.
Yeah.
Mark over
and you're
here.
getting, the learning curve is a lot for you, I can imagine.
Yeah, it
You
is.
enjoy your
But,
job so far?
I do. I really enjoy
I mean, it
it.
should be, because it's very satisfying helping veterans.
It is. When
Should be
they
very
leave
helpful.
and you see the look of satisfaction on their face, you know if you've done something good for that day. It is a good job.
It's a good job, and Michael
It's a good
Good.
job.
There
Michael
you go.
Good is
It's
good.
that's a
All
good
right.
job.
Yeah.
So we have to, Mark said a good word, that we're out of time. But Mike, you are doing a good job. And first of all, thanks for the past, for all the good service that you did for our country. That's number one. But now you're continuing doing good things for the veterans that we also owe them as a country for all their service. So keep going and with success and with good health.
Much
All right.
continued
Thank you.
success, yes.
Thanks for having me.